Hey everyone, this is Tom Salemi of DeviceTalks. Very happy to bring you another episode of our Future of MedTech Opportunities segment, our FOMO series. Our interview today is with Emily Stelzer. She is Senior Manager of Solution Engineering at Tecan. Emily, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Tom. Nice to be here.
We're going to talk today about future-proofing your manufacturing strategy. But of course, we always want to find out, I think the most interesting conversation we can have is to find out how folks found their way into our great MedTech industry. So what led you to MedTech? What excites you about this space and about working in MedTech manufacturing?
Absolutely. Well, the passion for MedTech and the excitement about the industry started in college. So I studied biomedical engineering. And once I learned about the MedTech space and how we can marry engineering and technological advancements with improved patient outcomes, I was sold. So I've been in this space for the past 8 years. Started at a large tier one CDMO place, started as a new product development engineer focused on the quality regulatory side, held various roles in the CDMO space there: project management, engineer, operations, customer manager, and business development. Learned a lot there. All of my time focused on MedTech. And over the past 18 months, I've been here with Tecan. So Tecan is a global leader in lab automation. But beyond that, we have a hyper dedicated team and focus on MedTech through not only the early stage technology development, concept development work, all the way through product development and manufacturing, where we partner with companies to bring cutting edge medical devices to the market. I'm passionate, especially in the medical device space, about future proofing, just given the global instability, market changes, tariff landscape that we're handling now. I think we're all seeing the firsthand impact of supply chain delays and all of that unpredictability. So I'm passionate about helping customers navigate that uncertainty and make sure their device is ready, not only for 2025, but for decades beyond.
Well, that is a great origin story. We're glad to have you in the industry. So let's focus on the topic of the day, future proofing. Tell us a little bit about future proofing, and then maybe we can talk about some of the challenges that are facing medical device manufacturers today when it comes to future proofing.
Absolutely. So I see future proofing as developing a product that is not only going to be hitting the market and helping patients where they stand now, but able to adapt and evolve in the future, whether that's changing and updating technology as new functionality comes out, artificial intelligence being the top of mind there. Future proofing also looks like making sure your supply chain is rigorous and your product is set up to be manufactured in a way that can continue to service markets and patients in the future. And from a challenge perspective, in meeting those future proofing goals, I think the biggest challenge of that future proofing effort is just the pace of change that currently exists now, right? We are engaging in just 2025 alone. We're seeing massive shifts in the regulatory body space. In the FDA alone, here in the United States, I believe the last layoff I saw was about 3,500 people. So regulatory bodies, personnel, and environments are shifting. You have geopolitical instability, you have tariff fluctuations, and a shifting tariff landscape that looked one way in February, looks one way now, and it's going to look different in September, October. And that's just within one calendar year. So there's a lot of challenges that medical device manufacturers and contract manufacturers are facing currently on making sure their products are going to go the distance in the market. I'm seeing also rising demand for supply chain transparency and flexibility to be able to adjust and better equip ourselves to handle these challenges and make it through.
So those are all great points. Let's talk a little bit about the technical strategies and the different manufacturing approaches that medical device companies are taking today to solve these challenges. And how does Tecan help with that?
So my focus when engaging with medical device companies, I'm focused on two topics in my first conversation with them to best handle some of these broader geopolitical global challenges. First being manufacturing location, and the second being artificial intelligence and smart manufacturing conversations. So going back to location, given the tariff landscape that again is evolving rapidly and taking tens of millions of dollars and hundreds, thousands of people's time to engage with, we're all recognizing the same thing, which is that location matters when you're selecting a CDMO partner and a manufacturing location. So onshoring manufacturing that maybe used to look, just by Excel spreadsheet lines alone and transfer price, a little bit cost prohibitive compared to some of the global lower cost regions. Now, with tariff changes and tariff risks more broadly, onshoring manufacturing can mitigate a significant amount of risk there, as well as reduce lead times and improved collaboration during the NPI stage. It's a lot easier for engineers to be able to hop on a 2-hour domestic flight and be there with your CDMO engineering team to tackle challenges versus making a transcontinental flight from there. Now, talked a lot about onshoring manufacturing for your complex products, for your new product introduction of a really complex high-level assembly. That is looking more and more like a smart bet for companies. But there's also, we still live in a very global economy, a global environment. So offshoring manufacturing where it fits is another conversation that I have early on with medical device companies. So if you're taking a look at higher volume, maybe a simpler form factor product, or a product that has been in the market and you're happy with the stability of the supply, it can be valuable to seek offshore manufacturing locations. So here at Tecan, not only do we have a Morgan Hill, California location to best handle some of those onshore manufacturing opportunities for highly complex electromechanical devices, but we also have a Penang, Malaysia facility that offers the exact same quality management systems and same manufacturing techniques and process controls as our onshore California facility to move forward in expanding into a broader manufacturing strategy for companies. So whether that is engaging in conversations regarding what does the manufacturing strategy look like in 5 years, there's potential to dual source. Maybe it's launching in an onshore manufacturing environment and shifting offshore once things are more stable. Or perhaps it's launching firsthand in an offshore manufacturing, given maybe there's a higher appetite for risk when it comes to the evolving tariff landscape. These are all considerations that companies really need to be focused on in the early conversations with their CDMO, and what I am personally driving customers to think about. Second point is artificial intelligence and smart manufacturing. Every time I talk about AI in manufacturing, I think people think of a sci-fi movie where there's, humanoid robots that are assembling all of the products. And while that's a cool movie concept and can be applied in other areas, currently AI is being applied in less sexy but highly critical areas such as predictive maintenance and calibration on equipment, real-time quality checks, process checks, accelerating operator training, and assembly build instruction authoring. All of these churn out a higher quality, better product in the end, utilizing the technological tools that we have at our disposal. So here at Tecan, our VPOC system, which is a computer-directed assembly process, is an example of where we are currently engaging with AI to improve functionality in all of those areas that I had mentioned before, and seeing a lot of strides being made. So as we're talking about early conversations to engage with, medical device customers and companies need to be asking their CM partners, what's your AI strategy? And if you get back a vague, fluffy corporate business statement answer, as opposed to a real direct way where they are targeting AI in their processes, you may want to ask yourself, is your CDMO partner actually future-proofing themselves for scalability for your product?
Well, that is certainly a lot for medical device companies to track. Looking further ahead, how do you see medical device manufacturing continuing to evolve over the next decade?
Yeah, good question, Tom. I think the first one, and I'm seeing this as a trend currently, is going to be an increased focus on total cost of ownership for medical device companies, and not just on unit price. Yeah, I think 5-10 years ago, you were able to take a closer look at some options and likely pick the cheapest option, which made a lot of sense. But in today's evolving global economy, with all of the risks that are present out there, companies need to be focused on the complete cost of ownership, looking internally at their own costs, as well as potential risks and costs associated with supply chain delays, things going wrong. We all have some scars from 2021, 2022 supply chain area. So companies need to consider how to steer the ship away from more of those. I also see AI and automation moving to the production floor and into every phase of the product lifecycle, even more so than it already is now. 2 years ago, there were very few people leveraging AI tools for development and manufacturing. And in 2 years, there has been a massive technological distance that's been covered by companies. And looking over the next 10 years, I can't wait to see how that is going to evolve. But I know for sure that AI and automation are going to be a big part of it regardless. And finally, I see a really interesting regulatory challenge in regulatory space. Current manufacturing AI applications aren't necessarily touched on by the regulatory bodies in the depth that they do for, say, product evaluations. So I anticipate some new standards and additional standards for process automation, digital traceability, even taking a closer look at large language models or LLMs and that experience. So how are those data sets regulated that are training these hyper intelligent models that are being used to develop products? I know in my past, we had a product where we were developing new functionality using a large language model. And there was a big ethical discussion about how that data set is regulated and what's going to create the best output for patients. So there are a lot of really interesting challenges that I see the next decade bringing, and the medical device industry is certainly up to taking those on.
Well, once again, we're talking about a lot of important things to consider. So, one final thing for listeners who are early in the process, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them as they start thinking about their manufacturing strategy?
Chase total cost of ownership and consider strategically and intentionally what total cost of ownership means with your product long term. So don't just chase the lowest cost alternative. I know here at Tecan, we really focus and pride ourselves on increasing flexibility, quality, and long-term capacity and scalability to support our medical device companies, not only where they are now, but 5, 10, 15 years. And where that comes from is engaging early with these intentional questions. So taking a hard look about your product's risk, roadmap uncertainties, and bringing those to your CDMO partner so that we can step in, provide some guidance that will help you grow, not only, again, getting to that finish line in product launch and release, but making sure you're releasing the right product in the right space long term. Think big picture, because the decisions that you make today will determine how quickly you can adapt tomorrow.
Well, Emily Stelzer, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your insights and for letting folks know what Tecan sees for the future of MedTech opportunities. And I really appreciate your being part of the FOMO series.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be here, Tom. Thanks for having me.
And folks, if you'd like more information about Tecan, please go to their website. Tecan is spelled Tecan, and the website is partnering.tecan.com.